Good afternoon. This will introduce Mr. Silas Maxson. Mr. Maxson served in the U.S. Army. His highest rank was sergeant, and his birthday is February the 18th, 1927. We are at the Pickwick Sterling House today. It is February the 22nd. My name is Millie Warwick. I am a volunteer for our sponsor, and our sponsor is the Clifford Thompson Post 43 American Legion. Mr. Maxson, I wonder if we could start out if you could tell us where and when you were born.
Oh, of course I was born in Shelby County. My birth date is 2/18/27. Fortunately, I was actually born on the 17th, but they couldn't, the courthouse was closed by the time they it was, I had to go to the next day, and that's the reason there was a day elapsed there on my birthday. But I've always really celebrated the 17th on much of my life.
So you're one day older than people think, huh?
Right.
And what did your parents do?
They're farmers. They were farmers. I was in a large family.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
5 brothers and 6 sisters.
Wow. Can you tell me their names?
Okay. My brothers was Harold, Myron, Charlie, John, Harry, and of course myself. And my sisters was Marveline, Mabel, Esther, Pearl, Dorothy, Phyllis. My one sister was killed in Audrey in 1947.
But how wonderful to have a big family. Were any other of your family members in the service?
Oh yes, I had 4 brothers in the service.
And what
2
branches did they serve in?
Charles, he was he joined in the National Guard, and he was in a guard unit when he went overseas. And my other brother, Arn, he was after he got into the Air Force. Some I don't know what kind of service he really traveled, but I guess he got through it all right. But he went to England, and he was at an Air Force base, basically, and he was in a dental unit where he was in the servicemen and their needs for any dental service on their teeth, and he'd done some of that kind of work.
Ah. What were you doing before you entered the service?
Well, I was a truck driver, working for the Farm Bureau, and I just started work for him, and then I got called up. And of course, on returning, I returned back, and I still had a job when I got home. But it was a job. Some of it was hard work, and that's which I never minded too much because I lived through a lot of it anyway.
Mm-hmm. So you were drafted, huh?
Yes.
When did you get called up, and where did they send you to train?
I was called up in September 22nd, 1950. And from there I was processed and took my basic training in Camp Atterbury, Indiana, in a Pennsylvania National Guard unit. And we had very good training from those fellows from Pennsylvania. I got hands on. They did a pretty good job with some of us been there. You know, always had come through there, all come through this war pretty much unscathed. But there's a lot of units, the boys come in there, just like they've just disappeared. And kind of travesty in a way, but
Mhm.
that's the way it happens.
Were any of your friends with you, or were you all by yourself when you got out to Indiana?
It was all, we was kind of all by ourselves.
Were you?
Yes.
And what kind of training did you have?
Well, just basically basic military training. Later on, as you got into it, you got into your advanced training and what you were trained to do, which I was basically trained in heavy weapons, which was machine guns, and I had all my basic training in that, and I followed it up pretty well in that.
I guess from a farm boy with a rifle to machine guns must have been quite a change for you.
Yes, it was quite a change.
Did you have any problems getting used to the military life, the physical regimen and the food, or?
No, I adapted myself pretty well to it. Some of the boys had, I could see some was having some problems. He just wasn't quite coping to what they were trying to put off to you. I picked it up pretty quick. I'm no farm boy. Anything that come along, I pick it up. It was no problem. It was no problem to me because I was on training units one day, and we had some bayonet training and something out there on a post ahead. I went through there and I just cleaned that thing right off. That just slick as a whistle. And his big son said, "Who's the guy that done that?" I said, "Well, I was, sir." He says, "You're all right, boy." He says, "You're gonna make it." He says, that kind of attitude is what brings boys back, and that made me kind of feel kind of good when I went through that, because I knew when I went through it, I said, "Boys," I said, some of the fellows, I said, "Boys, we better learn all we can learn, because it's going to take everything for us to go back home. So that we're going to have to remember some of this stuff." And some of the fellows that was looked at me and said, "Well, how would you know?" I said, "Well," I says, think a little bit about it." I says, "Go on," but I says, "This war's going to be over sometime, and you're going to come back home." So I says, to kind of try to prepare yourself some way to get through this mess, so we can get the hell out of here.
And where did you go from basic training?
From basic training, then we was shipped to our port of embarkation in Washington, and from there I was deported on ship. It was 1,800 soldiers on the trip, and we were shipped into I think it was Camp Moore, Japan, was an American base in Japan.
And what was the name of the ship you were on?
It was USS Sergeant Analog was the name of the ship.
I'm sorry, what was the name of it?
Sergeant Analog.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So when you got to Japan, what happened?
And we got processed, updated on all the shots. Man, we got shots out the yin yang. But yes, it was a necessary thing, I guess. But we all survived it and went through it. But some boys couldn't hardly take them shots too well. Some would pass out, some would just drop right there.
How long were you in Japan?
He was over there about a week, 10 days, something like that.
Was this October, November 50, or?
You know, this was in this March. It was in March then.
March 51?
Mm-hmm. Because we left Washington I think 10th day of 10th day of March, I think it was. 10th day of March. And from the time I left, the time we got back, it was March 2nd when we got back. But nevertheless, some of the boys, they got so sick.
I wondered how the trip over was.
Oh, he just got sick as dogs. I never seen boys get so sick. But it never bothered me. After I got past my first 2 days, I was all right.
Oh, good. So what did you do in Japan after you got shots?
Well, a lot of that was pre-orientation and preparation to be assigned into our units to go in line in Korea.
So where did you end up being assigned?
I was assigned to M Company, 24th Division, 5th Regimental Combat Team. And I was assigned to a machine gun section. Two squads of men, each one carrying a gunner in their own right, plus all their personal weapons besides.
Wow.
Which loaded you down pretty well. I mean, boy, did they load you down.
About how many pounds do you think you ended up carrying?
I'd say 24, up to 28, 29 pounds.
That's quite a bit for a little 23-year-old guy.
I carried 2 boxes of ammo, and that was for the machine gun, and that was the heaviest. And I can't say just how much that weighed, but it'd tax you all right.
So where did you go after Japan?
Then we shipped in to Korea to go to our military units online.
Where did you land in Korea?
We landed in Busan, and then we shipped forward up through Seoul, Korea. And then we shipped forward to our forward units where we was assigned.
How was that journey?
Beg pardon?
How was that journey? Were you in danger at the time they were moving you forward?
No, we were not really in danger. We heard shell fire going overhead. Some artillery units would be firing long range fire against the enemy. But as we all got in there, we learned pretty quick. When you heard a shell going over your head, you better grab your steel helmet and put it on, because some of them would burst in the air, and it did. Some of that stuff come down could hit you pretty good.
Pretty unnerving.
Oh yeah. But we learned to live with it. We knew what to expect when all this was going on.
So then when you got to your forward unit, tell me a little bit about what that was like.
Well, we was all then assigned to our special, our gun units, and we was, when the new recruits always went in, he was down at the end of the chain of the line, as I would say, line of reserve. He was the greenhorn, and you better watch going on around you, pretty good because it's sometimes between life and death sometimes. But we learned to live with it. And sometimes we got pretty sick. And I did get pretty sick one time. But nevertheless, we learned to manage to live through it, cope with it, and learn to adjust with it.
Did you feel like you were helping each other pretty much? How big was your unit, and did you make any good friends there?
Oh yes, there was 9 men in our squad. The gunner and the second gunner, and we had 4 ammo bearers in that unit, which made up the biggest part of the squad, which everybody carried his own weight and carried all the necessary things that has to be carried.
And what was your job in the squad?
At first I was ammo bearer. I was the guy back here bringing the ammo forward. And they said, ammo front, boy, you grab your box and you get it up. And the second gunner, then he would take the ammo and insert it into the weapon. And the gunner then, he would make the necessary adjustment for it to be loaded and ready for fire.
So were you able to adjust to this pretty well, realizing?
I adjusted to it pretty well to it. So between a lot of times we'd be on some marches, and you'd be selected special duty. Maybe you go out in the field and do certain items or of some sort. And sometimes you have to go in and rout out the enemy and clean them out, because you never would know what to expect, because here's in the enemy territory. And we did some later on when I eventually went forward, and I was section leader, and we had to go in and rout out a village, take the people out, because it come out that the enemy had hid weapons and ammunition in those buildings, and we had to get them out and get out of there and fire trade and destroy it. Boy, that was I say that was the hardest job I really had to do. Not that, oh God, man, you got to do it. I said, boys, let's get out of here. We got to do it. We got to get these torches and get the heck out of here. We don't know what's happening. Well, in fact, we didn't get over 400 or 500 feet from the buildings, and they started just blowing apart. And 5 out of the 7 buildings just disintegrated.
Wow.
They was right. There was ammo buried in them, and that blew it up, and that I cleaned it out. So if they come back through,
right,
they ain't gonna get any. But that's a sad part of some of that's not
was
up to
anybody?
your liking, but
Yeah.
you had that was your job.
And it sounds like a job you did well. I understand you have a Purple Heart.
Yes.
Do you mind telling me a little bit about how that happened?
Oh, we just moved in position, and we'd relieved another unit so they could pull back, and they didn't tell us that they had any booby traps or anything set around her. They didn't give that information. When we always clean out, we clean so we could look through the valley for a field of fire And we just about, Sergeant says, okay, pack it up. She says, that's pretty good. And just all went boom. I was standing there, and that stuff smacked me on the back of my legs. And I said, so, anybody hit? I said, yeah. I said, that means, I says, I don't know how to move because if I start rolling, I'm going to roll the bottom of this thing hill. And so he come and he got me then. And it was only maybe 10, 15 feet to the top of the hill. But we stood on the mountainside like that. And he called the medic, he come in and he give me a shot of morphine. Didn't do a hell of a lot. Didn't think it done very much good at all. Because every time my heart beats, I think, I'm in the edge. But I learned how to overcome that and live it down. But it was something you had to really live and watch, because you could go into what they call shock. Anybody says, I'm going in shock, boom, you'd be gone. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't want to be like that. I'm going to just have to grin and bear this damn stuff the way it is. And so I got through it all right.
So did they ship you to, how did they get you back for medical help?
They had a couple of stretchers and put me on a stretcher. They carried me back. Oh, man, that was the rough part. Carrying me around cliffs and rocks. You wondered if you ever want to get out of there. Mm-hmm. But after about 2 hours, they got me to the rear and got me to the first aid station, where then I started receiving first aid, and they'd give me some other shots. And I eventually kind of overcome it okay. And
2 hours to the aid station.
2 hours just getting off the hill.
Do you have any lasting problems from your legs from that?
I have some weakness in my left leg.
Do you?
But I've learned to live with it.
So after they got you patched up and you got better, did you go back into service?
Oh, they didn't take any bones about it. They want you back in the hill as soon as you can get you there, because they needed the right bodies, and you selected. So you better learn to suck up to it and just follow the line, and that's just the way you did it.
Yeah. Was it very hot or very cold there? It sounds like you were there in the spring.
The summers wasn't real hot, but boy, it did get cold.
Yeah.
Winters got awful cold.
And how long were you in Korea?
I was there a year.
I understand that you captured a Chinese prisoner of war.
Yes, we'd been moving up in different ones. I said, well, I was a squad leader, and I said, told my squad, I said, you guys just try and get you a little nap here. And I says, I'll stand the guard post here. Let you guys get some rest. And while I was sitting there waiting, and the sun hadn't come up yet, and I heard a little noise, and I picked up my rifle, and I was 200 yards in front of me, probably about here was that building over there. There was a Chinese soldier standing, and I pointed my rifle at him. He waved off, and I knew. I said, he didn't want to shoot me, but my buddy said, well, why did you shoot him? I said, I couldn't have shot him if I wanted to. I said, I didn't have my weapon. But I says, he didn't know that.
How did you know he was Chinese instead of Korean?
Oh, you could tell.
Could you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could tell.
Uniforms or the way they looked?
Yeah, their form of dress.
Ah. So was it lots of time of boredom and no action? Or is it constant action? What was it like your year in Korea?
Sometimes it get kind of boring. Sometimes you'd be in the field. You'd have to go out each day and see if you could find the enemy. And of course that was our job. Go out and see if you could find somebody and not knock them off a hill or something. But maybe it might be 2 or 3 days before we run into the enemy. But he was out there all right.
You always knew he was there so you couldn't rest, huh? So did you have close friends in that squad as you were going out over the hills of Korea looking for enemies?
We all we all became pretty good friends there in our units, and we, from different fellows all over this United States. You couldn't. They just where they some from North Carolina, some from California, some from Minnesota, everywhere. And you never knew it. And time I got in there, he got mail call one day, and this one guy says, I can't read this kind of thing. He says, Max, see if you can read off your name. And I thought, hell, I didn't have a lot better education memories than they did. And I took it, I read them right off. Boy, they went through just like as water. He said, how'd you learn them names so well? I says, you rattled them things off like you did it all your life. I says, well, I just hard to it, silvered it out. But now, I guess I done all right, didn't I? Yeah, he said you did all right.
Does that mean you handled mail call for the rest of the time?
Every time mail call, then I had to call out the mail.
I understand you were a little bit of a fixer. You knew how to tinker and fix things for people.
Oh, we was all the time tinkering around with something prepared and stuff. We did sometimes we didn't have too much to eat. We'd get in their cornfields and grab a near corn. And we'd take that corn. We'd parch corn. And the commander says, man, he says, oh, that smells awful good. He says, and my buddy, he was a Mormon from Arizona. He says, you like something? He says, that smells good enough to eat. He says, if it is, I says, tastes real good. He says, yeah, we'll fix you. So we fixed him up near corn, parched it for him. He says, how do you boys learn to do all that? He says, that's pretty damn good. Especially when you're hungry and you ain't got nothing to eat.
So there were problems getting supplies?
Always. Supplies. Sometimes you'd have an awful hard time catching up with you. And these current transportation corps, they would carry in supplies, and maybe some days we'd be traveling, so it maybe be 3 or 4 days before the supplies could even catch up to us, because we was always on the move. By the time we got to one place, by the time we got there, we were going again.
So Garrett said that sometimes you could tell that you were going to get, you knew the Koreans were coming ahead of time, huh?
Oh yes, he said if it's the boys, be on your toes, they're out there. How do you know? I says you can smell them, because they eat fish, rice, and the Koreans went and, that was dead giveaway.
Smelled fried fish, huh?
You knew there was out there. Just had to keep your eyes peeled. Yeah.
So would the enemy know? Would the enemy be able to find them too?
Well, I don't know how they would find us, but our kind of food and their kind of food was completely different.
Ah.
So they had to relearn what they had to smell to give our position away because of what you would eat. So.
Well, did you feel when you were doing all this, did you feel like you were making progress and taking territory and good things were happening?
I mean,